President Trump is expected to sign it into law. Let's bring in NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Melanie Zanona. Melanie, as we get closer to the votes tonight, how are Republicans and Democrats in the House feeling, and how should we expect all this to play out?
Well, the pieces are really starting to fall into place here. The House Freedom Caucus, this is a hardline Republican group. They came out in support of this deal, especially after it had President Trump's blessing. And then some other key Republicans we were watching, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has been outspoken about the lack of a health care plan from her own party. She is expected to vote yes on this as well. We've also heard from some centrist Democrats as well who might be crossing party lines to support this package. So perhaps the biggest wild card and the biggest question right now is attendance, because lawmakers have been scrambling to get back to D.C. over the last day or so. There are still these air travel delays at the airport, and the vote margins are going to be really, really tight for Speaker Mike Johnson, because he can only afford to lose 2 Republicans on any given party line votes. Those margins are about to get even tighter today, because he's going to swear in a new Democratic elect member, Adelita Grijalva, someone who won her special election back in September, has not been sworn in throughout this entire shutdown. That will change today, but we'll get our first glimpse of how things are going to go for the House over here when they vote around 5 p.m. That's when they're going to take a procedural vote that will really kick things off here today.
Okay, so Melanie, before that happens, though, there is a Democratic congressman that's made a last-minute proposal to fund an Affordable Care Act extension by redirecting a multi-billion-dollar package that's supposed to go to Argentina. What did lawmakers make of that idea?
Well, that bill in specific is not expected to actually go anywhere. Democrats are really trying to force Republicans' hands here, trying to draw attention to the fact that Trump has spent money on places like Argentina, but that Republicans currently do not have a plan to address these expiring health care subsidies at the end of the year. What I'm really looking out for is over in the Senate, there is an effort to try to win over some Republicans on an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies. I'm told that Democrats have been in active conversations with some of their Republican counterparts, seeing what it would take to win them over, potentially changing income caps, changing eligibility requirements, looking at whether that's 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. That is still very much under discussion, though, guys.
That's interesting. And Mel, if the House passes this bill to reopen the government tonight, how soon could furloughed federal workers get their paychecks and people using federal assistance like SNAP benefits get that money?
So federal workers would actually get their next paycheck whenever that is. It kind of varies across the federal government. But back pay is another question. That is actually going to take some time to process. So it could take a few days, even though it was guaranteed underneath this deal that is expected to pass later tonight. But when it comes to SNAP recipients, there's been so much whiplash about whether SNAP recipients were going to receive their benefits or not. There was a court battle over this. The money is expected to start going out to states, but it could take some time for states to actually start dispensing those funds to get them loaded onto EBT cards. So all of that really hanging in the balance ahead of this critical vote this evening.
Melanie Zanona on Capitol Hill.